it's Stephanie again, the Crafty Medic. In my continuation of my adaptive stamping series, I wanted to show you one of the tools that I've been most excited about and that I've found that my customers and my stampers that need a little bit of extra help has worked really well for them, and that's the Stamparatus. The Stamparatus is a tool that I use every day, and it helps me create multiples of things, and it helps me line stamps up straighter, things like that. But what I found is that it can really help, especially when you have somebody who either is very young or has some kind of challenge to overcome with stamp placement and consistency, that can really help. And while this may be a tool that they can't use independently, it is something that can help them gain more independence in their stamping. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you how to use a Stamparatus. So this is a great tool if you were having trouble with the clear blocks. You can't pick them up, you're having trouble getting them where you want them. The Stamparatus is your tool for stamping. There's a base here which is magnetic. It does come with a couple magnets, and then we've got these plates on the side and the top, or the side and the bottom, wherever you put them when you're stamping, and that's where you're going to put your stamps. So what I've got here is I've got this mat that comes with it that you're going to use when you're stamping with photopolymer stamps. I've got this card base on here. This is just one of the Whisper White narrow note card bases that I'm going to use to show you this. And then I've got the Butterfly Gala stamp set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first place my first stamp where I want it. So this is one of the outline stamps. Now you can stamp on this side, but I actually want to stamp on this side. The further away you get from this corner, the better it tends to stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this where I want it, and it's going to be upside down because this is going to be the front of the card. Then I'm just going to pick up my stamp with this. Now I don't have to be precise with my alignment at all, because these hinges are going to take care of that alignment. I can't wiggle that around even if I wanted to. Now we're going to ink up this stamp, and I'm just going to use my Memento Black, and it is easier if you have a stamp case underneath your stamps. So we're just going to pop that on there. I can see it's all inked up, and then I'm going to stamp it over to the side and push down. Now if it doesn't stamp perfectly evenly, which unfortunately this one has, you can just stamp again and it'll pick up any of that ink that didn't get transferred the first time. Now I want to place my little wing kind of fill-in colors, and this can be a little tricky. This can be very difficult to line up those precise placements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a spare piece of window sheet here. You can actually use the plastic from inside as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on there. I should actually put it upside down, because now I can see where it actually goes, and now I can line this up. And it doesn't matter if it's not exactly perfect, and you won't, what happens with photopolymer stamps, if you're trying to place it with your fingers, it'll stick to your fingers and it'll move when you go to pull your fingers away. This way that won't happen. So I've got it lined up where I want it, and I just take my fingers off of the window sheet once I've got it there, and it's all good. Now I'm going to use that second plate, because it does come with two plates on the top here, and I'm going to pick up that stamp. The window sheet will come with it, and that's totally fine. We'll just peel that off. And now I'm going to ink up this stamp. So this one I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape. And we're going to stamp this. So same procedure, we're just inking it up, and there we are. Now I actually wanted to stamp those wings as well, but I'm out of plates. So I'm actually just going to take this and flip it around. So now I've got the back side of this plate. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with my little bottom wings here. Throw it on there. Line it up exactly where I want it. And you can be as precise as you want with this. I'm being very precise right now. I drive myself crazy. And then we're going to pick up that. And exactly the same thing here. We're going to there we go. Now I've got those bottom wings. Now I want to do these ones just a little bit lighter. So I'm going to take my top one again and I'm going to load up my top wings, but this time I want to actually stamp it off. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. This is a great way too if you want to make multiples of this same card. You just leave the stamps where they are and you can stamp as many times, and every single time it will be in exactly the same place. So now I'm going to ink this up, but I want to stamp off. I want to make that color a little bit lighter. So all I'm going to do for my first stamp is I'm going to put a piece of cardstock over top there. We're going to stamp there. Now I've stamped it once onto there, and then I'm going to stamp it again onto my card, and it's going to be a shade lighter. Ta-da! There we go. So that is the Stamparatus. I've done another video about it as well that's not in the context of adaptive stamping, but like I said, this is a great tool if you can't pick up a block or you have trouble lining things up, people who are a little bit shaky or don't have the focus to be able to stamp in exactly the right spot. If you're stamping with kids or anyone else that may have trouble getting things lined up, this loading the stamps onto the plate may be something you have to do for them. But then they can still be successful. And I'll often do this for my classes. It's going to save time for everybody to make the same card and stamp in exactly the same spot if I just have the Stamparatus ready to go versus everybody having to line up the blocks. I'm going to show you some more tricks with this stamp set as well. But in the meantime, if you need to get a Stamparatus for yourself or you want to get this stamp set, it is available again now. You can go to thecraftymedic.com and get it there or talk to your demonstrator.